Dave Bazaar, and this is the latest. Today, class, it's almond economics, okay? I had an old colleague who got his MBA in Berkeley, and he always told me that he had an economics class that began by the students having to stand on top of their chairs and chant, "Cash flow now," okay? You can think about that, the importance of it. When you need the money, you need the money. Let's take it a little deeper. I'm going to start by using a budget, right? This is one that I don't want to tear apart. It's $3,600 per acre. I believe that number is probably low, and we're going to go into reasons why it's particularly low with all the input costs going up. But that's the one we're going to use. And so let's start by saying to ourselves, what does that $3,600 mean? So $3,600 per acre, and that does not include a mortgage payment. It does not include a salary for the operator. It does include property tax, but I don't really want to break it deeper than that just because I think we all have different ideas. $3,600 per acre, 2,200 pounds, 2,220 pounds per acre is last year or 2021's average yield, okay, based on a 2.9 crop. You divide that in, your break even is $1.62 per pound, break even. For reference points, current pricing is somewhere around $1.68. A lot of our buyers watch these things. I want to point out to them that I'm talking grower price, okay? So this is a price that growers get paid currently. So $1.62 per pound is a break-even cost. Let's then start to look at a little bit what that budget is made up of and perhaps where we can possibly save some money, because break-even doesn't get it. $3,600. I've roughly divided that into fertility at 20%. In this budget, the water is only allocated at $380 per acre. That is an extremely low water cost, I would say, for everyone. I'm sure the Harris Farms number is going to be much closer to $600, so keep that in mind. Herbicide I've got at 6%, pesticide at 9%, bloom at 5%, bees at 11%. Those together add up to about 62% of this budget. So from here, I'm going to try to say, hey, what can we do to possibly save some money in this sort of game? So I'm going to start with bloom. Since we're in bloom, and as a reference point, I take a little look at a fungicide cost. It's up 28% from February of last year. One of our items that we use is up 28%. That's not factored into this $3,600. Okay, what are we going to do about a bloom spray? Where can we save money? I think there's quite a big debate going on right now on, do I apply a bloom application or not? I think you have a divided camp. I have people who are absolutely not going to apply a bloom because we don't have any weather on the horizon, but we've got also a group that is saying, I'm going to apply one. I think you've got to analyze each one of these for your own operation. If I can use his name, Conrad Delatorre is planning on putting on one application, particularly because he has young trees on sandy ground. He's particularly worried about blast and a few other kind of issues associated with that, and so he feels he can't risk that. Others are saying, absolutely, I'm eliminating the bloom spray. So, okay, let's move on. Let's take the next category, fertility. Huge portion of my budget, okay, at 20%. And if I go to my costs this past year, and here I'll tell you what I'm looking at. I'm looking at can 17. The price of it is up 64%. Again, my budget is based on the old numbers. So you're dealing with a fertility cost that's going to be that type of number up. What am I going to do about fertility? Okay, Lewis Gill has brought up several items to me that I think are very, very important. He says you need to lead with tissue analysis. You need to study what your plant truly needs. A tissue sample, I'll use $60 as a cost for it, spread across, let's say, 100 acres. Relatively tiny little cost, so you need to do more analysis there. What is my tree short on? Don't just apply something if it doesn't truly need it. The other pitch that is out there now is about getting the product into the plant, not just on the plant. What does that mean? You're going to have to start to study what type of foliars and applications are the most cost effective to actually getting the material you're looking for into the plant itself. That may mean you may need to spend more money for the mix, but the idea is I get a better bang for the buck. I can get it into my plant. You verify that with tissue analysis. So you're going to have to look really close at that. Another thing Lewis brought up is that sometimes when you focus on one item, nitrogen in particular, and you're saying, hey, I'm going to go UN32, you can find a cheaper source of nitrogen sometimes with blends. So don't get single focused. Try to analyze where or when and what's the best way to provide that product you were looking for to the tree and into the tree. So fertility, I think, is a big, big portion of your budget. I think you can spend a lot of time trying to figure out, hey, what is the best way to go about that? Herbicide. Its costs are also up dramatically. So without naming the chemical itself, Roundup, I'm showing a cost increase from last February to today of 235%. Okay, that's not included in this budget. So you're under tremendous pressure upward for those items. What can I do on a herbicide? I think one item that comes to mind is if you can, you delay as long as possible your application of your residual so that you can have hopefully a longer and longer period of time that you're covered in. Just an idea. Again, each one of these items I think is going to be individual to the ranch and the grower. And so I think you've got to go deep into why am I spending my money and where is it best used. Okay, what do I have left? Pesticide. So pesticide is a fairly big portion of the budget. Again, I'll use one indicator. I'm showing a miticide is up 9%. I think my numbers there are a little different because I think I bought it late last year and the pricing today is, I'm sure if I looked at a year to year on date, it's much higher than that. How am I going to save money on pesticide? Well, to start with, remember that you can't cut off your nose to spite your face here. Serious defect is a tremendous, one, you don't get paid for the amount of serious defect you bring me, and two, I have a penalty schedule. So you have to be very, very careful on how do I cut there. I think if you go to the UC's type advice, they're saying look at the maize spray, that's the one that probably could be removed. I know our own operation will worry about mites there. That's where we want to control mites, or at least one of the areas. I think it's going to be an individual deal again, but I think you can't walk away from it, right? So you have to make sure you're on top of that idea that I've got to control that, particularly navel orange worm and the rest of it. So look at the mite spray from an aspect of maybe you can save there and maybe not. Let's round it all up again though. So you were under fire. This $1.62 break-even number, if I put it in context, roughly my 2020 pool paid $1.67. Now you're going into the 21 season. Pricing currently is somewhere, and again, it depends on what items we're talking about, is somewhere around $1.68. There's not a lot of room here. There's no room to pay a mortgage, no room to buy your groceries at home. You need to analyze your operation and try to find the best spots that you can cut money, because that's tantamount to survival in the coming years. So that's been Almond Economics. I'm Dave Bazar.